Welcome to Side Roads. I'm Carlos, and this is a 2024 Kia Seltos. The 2025 Kia Seltos. This is a subcompact SUV, which is currently one of the segments more competitive between this one and the compact SUV segment, in general SUVs, but the compact and subcompact are packed with options, which is at the end of the day always good for consumers. So these Seltos have two engine options. One, or the base, which is included in most of the trims, is a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine that produces 147 horsepower and 132 pound-feet of torque. That is pretty average on the segment. It is still competitive, and some options are around there. Some have a little bit more horsepower, less torque, but in general terms, that's right there. And also, this is a subcompact SUV, so it's not too big, not too heavy. So those engines, which are similar across the board, typically are sufficient for this type of vehicle. Then it comes, which is not that common in this segment, to have more than one engine option. This one then comes with a 1.6 little 4-cylinder turbo engine that produces 195 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque. And right there, that puts this on a different league. 195 horsepower are more than anybody else on this segment. The closest one, if I'm not mistaken, would be the Mazda CX-30, which is not exactly the same shape of this, so, but at least in terms of engine it would be. But also, that is around the average horsepower on the compact segment. So that makes this car then offer something that not everybody else in the segment offers, and also giving consumers the option of a smaller car with a little bit more of power. So that's smart from Kia, in my opinion. So the Kia Seltos then competes with cars like the Volkswagen Taos, the Toyota Corolla Cross, the Honda HR-V, and the Chevrolet Trailblazer, just to mention a few. The list goes on and on. Some of the standard safety features for the Kia Seltos are things like forward collision avoidance with pedestrian, cyclist, and car detection, lane departure warning, lane keep assist, lane following assist, and driver attention assist. And that's just the base. Once you go one up from the base trim, you get a lot more features. So it's pretty good on the safety department. Fuel efficiency for the Seltos is on the 2-liter engine, 8.3 liters per 100 kilometers city, 6.8 liters per 100 kilometers highway, which is 27 mpg city and 31 mpg highway. On the 1.6 turbo engine, the consumption is 9.4 liters per 100 kilometers city, 8.7 liters per 100 kilometers highway, which is 24 mpg city and 27 mpg highway. Price for the Seltos in Canada starts around the 28,000 Canadian dollars, and the top trim goes to around 42 $30,000 Canadian dollars. In the US, the base starts around 24,000 US dollars, and the top trim comes around 31,000 US dollars. Also competitive on price. The top trim seems to be a little higher, but remember, these are the two top trims both in the US and Canada. Comes with this 1.6 liter turbo that I'm driving on this unit, and that's, you know, push the price a little bit. But if you take those trims down, it's right there around and very competitive with the base engine comparing to everything else that is in the class. The 2024 Kia Seltos interior. This is an interesting one. Has a few features that are really good and some others that we'll talk about. Let's start with the materials, which are hard plastic here and in the doors and the top of the doors, and obviously in the rest of the car. Now, the design is really nice. It's different and has some different levels and layers here, so it makes it at least visually nice. This portion, for example, is like faking leather wrap with stitching, but it looks good, and this portion is soft. The doors in the interior part is also soft, and the touch points are soft and nice, so it makes the car comfortable. The seats are comfortable as well, so that's good. They are wrapped in leather, of course, and the steering wheel is also leather wrapped. Now the steering is heated. The front seats are both heated and ventilated, and the back seats are heated. Those features are not available across this segment, so that's really good, especially the ventilated or cool seats in the front. That's unique in this segment and the segment above, so that's pretty good. It has drive modes, this car, normal and sport and smart, so it gives you that as well. So it has this dual 12.5 inches digital screen here. So one portion is the gauge cluster, and when you change the modes, change a little, and you have a center information display that you can change and configure a little bit. It looks sharp, it's really good, it seems modern and up to date. So that right there is a cool feature that will attract younger buyers, and you know, this is pretty trendy, and it's also not common found in this segment, although it's growing. This portion of the screen then is the infotainment system, and it's pretty easy to use. The icons are big enough, and it has all the information that you need. So it's pretty smart and simple and user-friendly. I like this. The air conditioning controls are all hard buttons, which of course I really like. And it has wireless charging here for your phone. The infotainment comes with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It also has this regular shifter that you know I prefer and like. Center console is big enough and deep enough. It's nice. It has two cup holders, and the glove box is also, you know, decent size. This car has one touch up and down on the power windows for the driver, and it has two memory seats, which is pretty handy and really good in this class as well. And this particular model that I'm driving, which is one of the top of the range for the Seltos, has this Bose premium sound system, so all that is good. We have this small sunroof here. So in general, this is good, this is competitive, it feels spacious too, visibility is great. So it has a lot going for, and remember their trims are pretty spread, so you can have a lot of these, not to have the top trim, and then you will have a pretty competitive price with a pretty interesting and up-to-date interior, which is cool to have for this amount of money, of course. I fit behind myself in the second row, and there is a little bit of space to spare. And the trunk is a little bit on the high side, the floor of the trunk, but in general is practical and useful. I think other offerings may be offering something bigger on the trunk, but remember, this is subcompact segment SUVs, so they are small and there is something to compromise, either the second row or the trunk or the front row. But in general, because of the shape too, it's pretty square, so it's pretty spacious, it feels nice in the back. I have no complaints. This interior is very competitive. It is very nice. So how is to drive the Kia Seltos? It is right there with the competitors, I would say. I recently driven the Chevrolet Trailblazer. I have also driven the Mazda CX-30 and the Buick Vista, so check those videos on review out on the channel. So this one is what is expected in this segment. So the steering is pretty balanced. It's not too soft, not too heavy, which is good for general users, and most of the people will be okay with this steering. The suspension is a little bit on the firm side. I found the Chevrolet Trailblazer a little bit more compliant, I would say, marginal, like very little. So again, because this is such a competitive segment, I guess the recommendation here, go and test drive. Find the 3 or 4 ones that you think you like the best, at least from the looks, and then go deeper in the details and then test drive, because some little things may lean you towards one or the other. The brakes are good, they feel very responsive, and this is, you know, a small car, so that's good. The acceleration on this one, which is a 1.6 turbo, off the line you can feel a little bit of turbo lag, but then it moves the car with no issues. This is a pretty good engine for this car, the size of the car and the weight of this car, so I think Kia did very well there. On the base engine, which I haven't driven, well, I will have to get that one and let you know, but as I said before, competitors are pretty much all of them around the same, so you know, it will be a matter of the whole package as a feeling for you to decide if it's good or not. So acceleration feels good on this. The cabin is quiet enough. The steering back to it feels direct, it reacts quickly to the inputs, so that's good. And the cabin, as I was saying, is quiet enough. I don't think this is the quietest cabin in the segment, but I also not expecting cars on this segment to be super quiet, because again, there have to be something on the price and the way that the brands put the cars together and available for you, where they need to also make some money out of it. So I wouldn't expect that a lot in this class. The Buick and Vista though was pretty quiet, because then Buick is pushing it for a more, you know, a little bit of a premium experience, and I did notice that, so that's there. The seats are comfy, are on the firm side, but they are comfy. So overall, what do I think? I think this is a competitive vehicle. I think it does a few things very well. I think it looks great, which will attract people, and you know, as you saw in the interior portion of the video, there are features here too that will attract young buyers and many buyers, and I think Kia is pushing their brand to an interesting direction. Their designs are interesting. They are not exactly the same that everybody else, and this one, for example, compact with features. So it's good. It's a good all-around vehicle in the segment. Again, it's a little bit difficult to decide and go for one or the other because there are so many, so you have to do your homework, and it's also a little bit difficult to define them or make them unique because they are all very similar and they are all very competitive, so that's good for us, but in general terms, you know, they are similar, as competitive as they are. The 2024 Kia Seltos is packed with features and have some unique elements to make sure it remains at the top of this super competitive subcompact SUV segment.